And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the Oliva Cigar family, and the J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
That's
an opening.
Wow, that's a new opening. Yes.
Yes. It's a good band. I like it.
Yeah, it was a good band. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, welcome, everybody. Hello to Yes. We are here again this evening, as Cousin Frank would say. And thank you all for joining us. We got the ladies' night tonight, as if you didn't know. And we got a lot of people jumping on, so thank you very much. We do have our two ladies that are coming on to kind of run the show for us with a wonderful guest, and we're looking forward to hearing her story. And she's a patriot at heart also, so Jerah and Dee really has a little bit of a connection there, and they'll get into it shortly. And thank you very much for joining. And I'm Ronnie Pecorini. Down there by himself in Tampa is Kyle Jesso.
Hello.
And then the two cousins sitting there in wonderful Florida, Daytona Beach area is my brother, retired Bob.
Welcome back, folks.
I thought you were just going to give the hand tonight, Bob. I was waiting. I was like, say something? Okay.
You took the hand. I'll get the audio.
And my cousin, the one, the only, the chooch master himself, Cousin Frank.
A man of many words.
Okay.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that
Was
was.
it
So
applause?
yes, the yes man.
Is it a rule that when Bob talks, Frank can't talk?
That's true.
No,
you know what happens
that
is
could kill Frank altogether. I don't know.
you know,
Okay.
Bob's two margaritas in. He had the tall margaritas tonight.
Yeah.
So I like when Bob's a little lit up.
I'm not lit up. I'm not even drinking right now.
I'm not saying
I
anything.
know you sucked down all the tequila before you got on. It takes a while to kick in.
Exactly.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the bourbon.
Yeah, he's waiting for
Never
bourbon.
mind that tequila.
Then we also have.
Yeah,
Hold on,
Kyle,
hold on. Let me introduce you, young lady. You don't worry about this slug next
You
to
didn't.
me. I'll
Yeah,
get
you
to it.
didn't
I'll get
introduce
it.
your friend though.
No, I got to do you first. He's last. Don't worry about it.
Whoa.
Tonight's lady leader,
Holy
because
cow.
the other lady's not here, is
Yep,
the
she's
one and only Miss Jerah Hutchins from the state of Texas.
Hello.
Oh, she did a Frank. Hello.
And then we have also she just made it back from the hairdresser.
Oh,
Got a
Okay.
fresh fade.
wow.
And there it is.
There it is. That's called the shag shake.
Exactly.
Shake. All right, that sounds good, Frank.
Okay,
There we
first of all, the
Shake,
guys
shake.
suck at this, so let me just let me just step in and do this. Okay, we have the queen of cigar box marketing, fresh from the hairdresser. She's got the fresh fade. She's here in all of her glory, Miss Cathy Poturny.
Ooh, look at that. Looks like
Wow, look at that.
she's in that Janis Joplin's blouse. Look at that.
Wow.
Sparkles.
She got some
Sparkly and
golden.
everything.
What is this?
That's
It was a fun fad thing. It's called fairy hair.
All
I
right,
was gonna
next.
say, like,
Oh, let's
did
skip that
angels
comment.
cry in your hair?
They did, girlfriend. They did.
fairy hair.
Fairy
Interesting.
hair.
Is that like
Fairy
derriere, only mispronounced?
Oh, for you that has no hairy hair, shut up.
Oh,
Wow.
I love it. Man,
I'm just
Dee
gonna
doesn't know
sit
what
here
she's
like a
in for
mute.
tonight. I don't
Yeah,
think.
Kyle, I think so. You and
I
I are
know,
going to
I
sit
know.
back.
come.
But I do have to announce one more person. One more. The man sitting here to my right on this comfortable sofa, which I miss so much, having a guest next to me, Kyle, is the one and only, the president of the Chicago Pipe Club, Mr. Tim Garrity.
The slug.
The
Nobody
slug.
tell me it's slug. I don't know
Slug.
too many slugs that have hair, Baldy.
That's all
I'm
right.
just saying.
You like that? That's
I
all right.
like it.
He's a good guy. He's a good friend. Don't worry about it. He's a slug.
That's a slug. What are we gonna do?
Well, everybody hit the share button tonight. It's
Sláinte.
ladies' night, and it should be a lot of fun. And yes, Cathy did run home from the hairdresser just to be on this show. Bet you she didn't even eat, but might as well drink a few bottles of wine.
I already
That means she's going to be extra salty.
Right.
Come on, Jerah. I'm learning from the best, girlfriend. I'm gonna
She's
follow
gonna be
your
extra
lead.
salty. I haven't eaten yet either. So.
Look at those nails on Cathy. They're matching the blouse there too. Ooh.
Wow. Look at that. Look. Ouch.
Whoa.
Kathy
This is
is
scary.
really
She's
styling
really
tonight.
styling
She's
tonight.
on fire.
Wow.
Look at her.
Wow.
Just for the girls, not the boys.
Where's Tim?
That's right.
Did Tim get matching
Color.
pedicure?
No, he gets a mani-pedi. Excuse me, you guys do too, so I don't want
I know. I'm man enough to admit that I love my pedicure.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
listen, we took Chris to get a pedicure the other day, my cousin's husband, and it was the first pedicure that he's ever gotten in his life because he was very anti pedicure. He thought it was like only for girls. Now we can't keep him away.
Exactly, that's
For the
Bob.
thing. Yeah, and that when we took him, they had to break out the drill
Oh yeah,
for him, and it was hilarious
Dremel.
because Kate is our girl, and she was like, and she started laughing because she was doing my nails while somebody else was doing his feet, and she was like, they have to break out the drill for him. It was a
His
very
toenails are weapons. His toenails are goddamn weapons. I'm telling you, the Mossad could use his fucking fingernails or toenails for a weapon. The stars got nothing on him.
I like Jerah's Vietnamese impression.
Yeah, can we
Did
get
you
her
try
to
that
sing again?
Yeah, they asked him. They're like, "You want clear polish or you want color tonight?
She's very good.
You want crinkle gel? Only $2 more."
Hey, you got a car going back and forth behind you, Jared. Just to let you know, we got you back.
Nah, it's fine.
Golly.
It's cool.
Very good, Mama San.
I got
And
it.
this
I
was the
got it.
moment that we all got canceled. It was great knowing you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Don't worry about it. We're all racist now. It's fine.
Don't worry, don't
Doesn't
worry.
matter.
Yes.
It doesn't.
It's a
It does
beautiful
not
thing.
matter.
I love you long
Man,
time.
Yeah, we have a pretty incredible guest tonight.
No.
And I didn't realize until I did our pre-interview this weekend with her that we have so much in common. And I really feel like she's my sister from another mister, and we both used to own cigar shops. We're both in the military. I think that she has a really cool story. And she ended up going back to school for nursing. So she was an ER trauma nurse. I mean, she's done everything. She's been an ER trauma nurse. She retired as a captain in the Army. She's now the director of Veteran Affairs for Cumberland County, New Jersey. So she's still helping our brothers and sisters in uniform. And what's really interesting, and we're gonna reveal so much more as we have the conversation with her. I'm not gonna give away everything, but what's really cool is she was referred to a cigar event after she was diagnosed with PTSD and found that cigars were the thing that kind of helped her calm her nerves, kind of helped her with the PTSD symptoms. And so I really want her to speak to that because this is super important because there are actually quite a few health benefits to cigars, not cigarettes.
Right.
Okay. And we've said that in the past, and I kind of want to dive into that a little bit. So help me welcome, please, to the show, the queen of cigars.
Jerah,
Miss
Jerah, not that I want to step on you.
Jerah.
Everything, Frank.
I didn't
Further
ruin
you.
anything. I've never ruined anything. This
You
is
should
a
know the show
friendly
better,
reminder.
Jerah.
Friendly
Well,
reminder.
I thought we could bring her on
go to our
before.
first, but no,
I
we
thought we
have
could
to.
just bring her on to introduce her before, but that's cool. We'll do what you want to do.
You gotta follow protocol. We
what
have a
Bruce-
thing here.
That's what
Whoa.
Bruce Stark is
Hey,
going to
what
get
is
very
this, lady?
upset.
Me and Dee are in the military. We wrote protocol.
And I'm going to
Okay.
support Jerah and Dee.
So that's who we're going to bring on after a word from our sponsors. You are going to meet the wonderful queen of cigars, Miss Dee Pittman.
Can't wait.
Well, see,
done.
that's
She
beautifully done.
introduces
Jerah,
the
that-
sponsors right away. She makes room for the sponsors.
She does. She did. She
Because you
learned.
dissed her, so get the goddamn sponsors.
Wow. Guys, I think we have to shut up here.
Wow.
You know, we're here. We're trying to
Ladies
do it.
first.
We'll be right back.
Ladies first. This
These
is what I
words
say. Ladies
from
first.
our sponsor.
I'm not being paradise. You know, it's making cigars.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: the Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind, and the newly released Perfect Round, featuring 18 cigars, a front 9 and a back 9. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago. 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Eric Peter Stokeby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
And we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ladies Show. And now, ladies, take it away.
Well, welcome, Dee. How are you, honey?
I'm trying not to bust a gut. I was listening to you guys while I was in the green room.
Busted, baby, busted.
And I do have to say to you, listen, you know, if you need an SOP or protocol for going to the bathroom, I can write it. Anything you can come up with, I can write a protocol for.
Hold on. We got a person. Bruce Stark is listening. Bruce, you hear that? We're going to send a personal one right to you.
Yep.
So, Dee, I want you to tell me a little bit. We're going to get into this really cool cigar that we're smoking in just a second that you provided us. I want to hear the story with that, but I really want to hear first about your military career. And so tell us a little bit about how long you served, where you served, and kind of like what you did in the military.
Okay. Well, unconventional, I think, is my middle name, but I'm persistent, if nothing else. So I always wanted to go in the military. And, you know, people were like, you know, why? Well, my dad was in the Air Force during Korean War era. And I wanted to do it when I was young, but unfortunately, as many of us know, life happens and it takes you in different directions, unexpected turns and twists. And, you know, I wound up starting work when I was 17, and that's where I wound up, you know, went through a marriage, divorce, you know, those kind of things that life events, unfortunately, that happen. And so I got to around 39 and realized something. I had this little epiphany that one of the things, you know, because we always hear, well, some of us hear, that there's a nursing shortage. And so I did some research, and because of that, the Army was accepting some of us older ladies into the military because they needed the nurses. So I got my RN degree and immediately signed up, did all my stuff, went for my physical, crossed my fingers. I had been doing my PT for about a year out because you can find that information online. So I was good to go. I was 43 years old.
Wow.
See, that is so great. Like it was like talking to myself. I loved this.
Yeah.
I didn't go until I was 38.
Yes. So, I always laugh because, I was at MEPS, which you know where that is for your physical and everything. And I'm with, I'm old enough to be most of them, their moms. And we're zipping along and all of a sudden they call me and they pull me out of the group. And I go back there and come back out and this young gal was sitting there. Her eyes were real big. Like, where did they take you? What did they do? I said, oh, don't worry about it. I said, I'm old. They had to do an EKG. Which they did. In fact, they did. But I was running so much then that, my heart rate was like in the 50s, all that stuff. So I was probably in peak shape at 43. Not so much now after 9.5 years in the military. So that's what happened. I went in and I served at a general hospital, 348th General Hospital, deployed a few times. And the interesting part is that I didn't go in because of 9/11. Oh, you've been Facebook stalking.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Frank the Stalker.
I love it.
Look at that.
Great pictures. Wow.
Beautiful. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah. So, I went in, started to do my thing. I did my oath right around 9/11. But it wasn't because of 9/11. So who'd have thought, right?
Right.
Oh, boy.
So, because it takes a while, that, you got to do a lot of paperwork and stuff. So it's not an overnight process. But anyway, I went in. I never wound up in the sand, which, for us military folks, sometimes that's frustrating, because you want to be there for your brothers and sisters. But I wound up overseas in 2004, 2005. And any of you that may or may not know military history, with the Iraq War going on strong,
Right.
The second battle of Fallujah happened around November of 2004.
Yep.
I was on an on-call team to bring in the mass casualties coming out of Iraq. And we took in, this is stuff that people don't normally know, we took in over 160 or 650 wounded the first week. Wow. This is the stuff nobody heard. And, that changed my life in many, many ways, both good and not so good.
Dee, where were you physically? Where were you physically?
So I was actually in Germany, and they were moving me between Würzburg and Landstuhl.
Okay.
Landstuhl is where, so they come out of Iraq and they fly directly. So they're coming right out of the box.
Right.
So, you're getting them. I had situations where I had my medics, they're trying to clean this guy up. And I looked at him and I said, no. I said, that's flash burn. It's not dirt. So wow. You've got a lot going on because our medicine is so good that it's ironic to say this, but war is much more survivable today.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
So you could get multiple, somebody who had shrapnel, a gunshot, and IED wounds. So, somebody said to me after the fact, because, people say things, and, well, you knew what you were signing up for, and you're a nurse, so it shouldn't have bothered you. And I said, well, when you have otherwise physically fit men and women who, shouldn't have any problems, and you see the destruction of war, it does change you.
Right.
So that was a real turning point for me. That's when the cigars started. So, and from there I did a lot of different, I used to go to Guatemala a lot. We would do medical missions down there. They'd send like a team of 30, some of us down there, and we would treat upwards to 14,000 people in like 10 days. Just basic medical. So, it was crazy, but they're all things that I'm so grateful for now. Like I talk to my peers, people my same age, you know, and I'm thinking, you know, they were home doing whatever they were doing, and I was out. They sent me out with the veterinarian sometimes in Guatemala because I was quick with a needle, and I was chasing piglets to inoculate them. So, you know.
Oh my God!
Wait a minute, hold on. Why were you inoculating piggies?
Well, you want to make sure part of what you provide to third world countries as military, you do water treatments, you make sure their animals are healthy, because you have to look at, you know, their diet, you have to look at their overall health.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's not just about the medical care for the person, it's a holistic, approach. So yeah. So that kind of tells you, you know, and then my last duty station, I think I shared this with you. Refresh my memory because I'm going to butcher your name.
Jerah.
Jerah. I said it like 10 freaking times.
Marsha, correctly.
You'll be calling him Marshall.
Well, actually, I should just go by your last name. You're used to that, right?
Yes, yes, Captain.
I can call you Sergeant, you know. So, but yeah, I was slated actually to go to Baghdad, and I got a call one night, and a very serious voice says to me, and it was, I think, a specialist. You know how good they are, specialists, right? They get stuck with everything. And the poor kid says to me, "Hey, I got a critical mission that we need you on." And I'm like, and I'm bracing myself. I'm like, "Oh, okay. And what's that?" And he says, "Little Rock, Arkansas."
Uh-oh.
What was critical about that?
Right? I can't even, like, I'm trying not to laugh at the kid, right? And I'm like, okay. I said, "So what's critical in Little Rock?" And what they had done was, some of you may have heard about warrior transition units.
Mm-hmm.
So if your unit was deployed and you were, you know, came back, you had injuries or you had some issues, instead of demobbing you, you stayed in a warrior transition unit while they took care of your medical issues, got you ready maybe for a med board, or got you back ready to go back to your unit, whatever that is. And these units were huge because, again, people don't realize how many wounded we had in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, it was huge, the numbers. So it was really tough because they're sitting there for months in this warrior transition unit, no family, no nothing. They're not serving in a capacity of a mission. They're pretty much around going to appointments and whatever. So the Army came up with what they called a community-based warrior transition unit. And that was what was in Little Rock. It was the first one of its kind. So it was considered critical because the Pentagon was looking at it a lot. And we used to get a lot of Pentagon coming through there. And as a result of that unit, they popped up like 4 or 5 different ones across the U.S. And how that worked is the soldier would come to us. We would do intake lists just like you would anywhere else. And then we would send them home. And they remained with their family. But they were assigned to a platoon. They had to call their platoon sergeant every day. We assigned them to a work site so that they could go, even if it was office, whatever it was. So they still had a mission. They were still taking care of their health, but they were with their family and their support system. So that's what that was. So it was a pretty unique unit. And you know, did
you find that it worked well?
Yeah, I mean, you always had a few that couldn't hack it. You know what I mean? And we would have to fly and go get them. And in fact, on my birthday, I had one. I was in Little Rock. I flew from Little Rock with my sergeant to Nashville or Memphis. Then from Memphis to Kansas, we picked up the soldier. We flew from Memphis to Dallas, and then from Dallas down to God, my brain. What's the base down in Texas, all the way down near the border?
Galveston? No.
Oh, are you talking about down in McAllen?
Yeah, it's an Army one. Anyway, my brain. But anyway, yeah, that was all in one day. And so what we did is we took her to an in-house facility.
Okay.
So we would do that sometimes, but for the most part, it worked well because they had their support system there and they weren't just twiddling their thumbs getting in trouble.
Right.
So is this something that is national? This was localized to Little Rock, and there's been what
Little Rock was the
military that comes home.
Little Rock was the first one. It was like a trial basis. That's why I said Pentagon. Everybody was coming in to see it because they wanted to see how it was working. And once they figured out it was working well, there was one in Utah. They had like 4 of them, I think, across the U.S. Now, I don't know if they're still functioning. I have not because I'm out of touch with all that. I hope they are, but they may be reduced down to only a couple because of the numbers at this point. But definitely a very, very smart thing to do. So I was honored to have that privilege to serve in a unit like that kind of paved the way for a new way to help our soldiers. It was pretty cool. So.
That sounds like that is awesome. I love that.
Was it probably Fort Bliss? Probably Fort Bliss.
That was it. Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss.
That was it. Fort Bliss. Thank you.
Thank you. My dad was in Bliss. My dad was in the Army. My brother was in Desert Storm.
Mm.
He was a medic, actually. He was a medic coming out of the back end when they showed out of Saudi Arabia. He was on that flanking on contingent, and he was there for 11 months, I guess it was.
Yeah, it's tough. We had long deployments. I was 15 months the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people don't realize that. It's tough.
Oh yeah, it was. So I had just gotten married, and he was. Tim and I just got married. It was 88. He went back. He went into the service like 3 days later, and then of course, we have the whole Iraq War, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just a little.
At least, yeah. He used to write me letters on toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I would send him rolls of toilet paper, and we would send him all these things. And my staff at the time, I used to get into the office really early in the morning, and I said, if that effing phone rings, you have to answer it. And I had one of the main partners in the investment firm I was working for come running into the ladies' room, banging on the door. Kathy, your brother's on the phone. Yep. They all knew. It was like, he was my baby brother. And
yep. And I'll tell you this, one of the things that people don't realize, and I will say it, is the written letter is so important. Everybody's so used to email and texting, Instagram, all the social media, and it's great, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, but even with that, receiving a letter, I can remember I had an uncle that would write to me, and I would take the letter out and I would smell it because it smelled like their house. Like there were so many things that you just want that little bit of home.
Mm-hmm.
Or I get a care package from somebody else in the family, and I could smell. I'd open the box and I could smell their house. I could smell, and it was like those things matter so much.
Oh yeah, you found creative ways to do things. The toilet seat covers when you go into a public bathroom. I used to write him letters on the toilet seat covers, and he would read them to everybody because it was just something on my marriage. It's what I did, and it was something funny that broke up the monotony. This was aside from sending coffee. And he said to my mom, do me a favor, send me like a bunch of potatoes. My mother's like, potatoes? They were making moonshine because,
first
of all,
why not?
Kind of dry.
Because you cannot. You're always looking for something to do.
They had a still. They made a still because they were in the medical corps, so they could do everything they wanted. They had pretty much, unfettered access everywhere. But yeah.
That's awesome.
So I get it.
And the other thing I did want to mention that I did in my career, and I don't think I said this to you, I did serve on the detail for Honor Guard, which was probably one of my, how do I say this?
Highlights.
One of the most important things that I feel like I did in my military career.
Absolutely.
And, and it was tough. Seemed like I was always the one that had to present the flag. And when I tell you, it is not easy to do that and, keep your shit together.
Yeah.
But that was an honor and privilege. So that's another highlight for me.
Yeah. I had to go through a basic instructor course in my branch of the military. And when you go through that, you have to do a 5, a 15, and a 30-minute presentation. And they don't tell you your 30-minute presentation until you get there.
Oh, wow.
And then you have to figure out how you're going to make it different than everybody else's, right? And so I got the Old Guard.
Wow.
As mine. And so I had to go do all this research on the Old Guard. And if you're unfamiliar, the Old Guard is the unit in the military that does all of the military funerals.
Right.
And so I got on my LinkedIn while I was at the at the class, because we were there for like 4 days. And I got on my LinkedIn and I was like, am I connected with anybody that ever served in the Old Guard? And somehow I was connected, and I think he was lieutenant colonel that ran Hotel Company, I think, which is the hotel company that did it. And he ran it for 5 years. And he let me Zoom interview him, and it was incredible. And he told this story about how when he wasn't running it yet, but he was in it. And one guy had popped off and said, because military funerals are expensive, they pull out all the stops. I mean, there's horses, there's all kinds of things that they do to make it really, really special.
And rightly so.
And one guy popped off and said, because it was at a funeral and there was only like 2 or 3 people in attendance for this guy. And he was like, I don't know why we do all this for 3 people. And the guy that was running at the time, he goes, we don't do it for them. We do it for the one.
All right.
Man.
We do it for the one. And that was so cool. And so, did I pass the class with flying colors? Absolutely.
I bet you did.
But it was really cool to dive into that, because I had heard of it, but I never really, got to understand the history behind it and, all that. Like, and they guard the tomb of the unknown soldier. That's right, Clay.
God bless.
And I interviewed. I couldn't put it in my presentation because she was in the middle of filming a documentary and she kind of had a gag order. But I interviewed the first female soldier that ever. Her name was Chelsea, and what was incredible about this, and this is a little bit of military education for all of you, is if you're going to guard the tomb of the unknown soldier, you have to pass a 100-point uniform inspection. They measure your uniform with a micrometer. Yep. Okay, it's insane. And then you have to pass a 100-question test, but they can pull over 300 questions. They have 300 questions in this pool, and they pull 100 of them. So you never know which ones you're going to get. So you have to study all 300 of them. And this woman did this while she was serving in a different unit. She was studying for all this and getting her uniform ready and everything while she was in a different unit. I think she was an MP. While she was a mother, while she was a wife, and while she was suicidal.
Oh, wow.
This was the thing that brought her out of it, because she had this goal that she wanted to be the first. She wanted to champion this, and it's absolutely incredible.
She had a purpose.
She had absolute purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that really brings me to, I want to talk about your diagnosis and when this happened to you.
Okay. Well, when I came back from overseas with what I was telling you about, the other thing I did over there, I need to caveat with that too. I was certified as what they call a sexual assault nurse examiner while I was overseas also. Wow. So I always laugh because you're called a sane nurse, and I say I'm the most insane sane nurse you're ever going to see. And I was it for what we called our footprint. And in the military, things are a little different. Not only do you do all the forensic collections and stuff like that for the victim, you also are brought the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator.
Alleged.
So that could happen right on top of, like an hour after you just got done with the victim, you got to deal with that. So when you put that combination of stuff together, I came back, and I've always been the jokester. I like to laugh. I love to laugh. And there was no laugh coming out of this gal. There was nothing. Deadpan. You could say something to me, and I would just look at you with this blank look. And, being a nurse, you kind of think, oh, well, you're going to figure it out quick and you're going to go get treatment. Well, I didn't. because I kept playing the tune of, well, I wasn't in combat. I wasn't this. I only did this. I just was here. So I went down that lane for about 4.5 years.
Oh.
Okay. And it wasn't until I talked to a combat vet who had been in Fallujah. And we were talking, and you know how you share stories. And he asked me, and I tell him what I was doing, because we were talking about PTSD. And he looked at me and he goes, enough said, stop right there. He says, you know, it happened in front of us. It happened there. He says, but they were taken away. He says, where did you go when all that was coming in? He says, you couldn't walk away from it. You couldn't, you know, whatever. So he had a little, you know, come to Jesus meeting with me. And, you know,
That he did, though.
yeah, I am grateful to him eternally for the rest of my life. And that is what started me. I used a great thing for active military One Source. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're for active duty. You can call them anytime, because I had something go down and I was not in a good space, and I called them, and it was actually on a Labor Day weekend. And they got me in to see somebody on that Tuesday, and they called me every day over that weekend to make sure I was okay. Wow. And I was not going to be suicidal or anything like that.
Right.
So, and I stayed in the military. I got out of the military in 2010. So you're looking at from 2004, 2005 to 2010. So I really wasn't getting treatment per se. I was dealing with it, but I wasn't dealing with it.
Right.
And when I got to Little Rock, Arkansas, you know, the universe in its wisdom, if they'd sent me to Baghdad, I don't know what kind of shape I would have been in. But going to Little Rock, it kind of put me in the line to deal with doctors there who were picking up on things with me. And, you know, we started to they started to get me to be a little more reality based. Like, yeah, you do have PTSD. You do. And so when I got out, I enrolled in my local VA, and I started seeing, you know, somebody, and I've been in treatment and stuff since then. But I want to roll back to 2004, 2005. So I told you we're getting over 650 wounded the first week. So you can imagine what a shift is like.
But a shit show it was too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty much. Okay. And so you worked until you dropped. You ran out of there. You tried to maybe down some food. You dropped into bed. You blinked, and you started all over again the next day. And you couldn't, you know, look, you can't sit there at the end of the day, or when you get, you know, all of your off shift, and say, hey, so how did that make you feel?
Yeah, there wasn't time for that.
You know, and you're not going to do it, because you can't let those walls down during that time. You just can't.
Right. You have to just keep forging ahead.
Yeah. So we'd have our sergeants, you know, this is before Cigars for Warriors, but they would go scrounge up some cigars and pass them out. My first cigar was I was lucky. I got a good one. I had a Arturo Fuente Chateau.
Nice.
Had no idea what I was smoking, but I smoked it.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter. It wasn't about that, you know, and you'd sit there and shoot the shit, bust on each other, do whatever, you know, and that's how you decompressed, and you know, and then you would do it all again the next day. So I continued to do that because I found it relaxing. And I got out and I came home, and I still continued to smoke, but I was isolated, because that was one of my huge problems, is that I did not want to be around people. Okay. Right. I guess I could say this in a public forum. I really don't like people.
All right. And the audience went to 0. All right, we're out. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye. There are a bunch of slugs anyway.
I feel like there's a butt coming.
Yeah. There is a butt coming, but, you know, I have a sign in my office at work. It says, you know, dogs welcome, people tolerated. Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at. But, you know, all kidding aside, when I started with the VA and stuff, I kept smoking cigars, but I was isolated. And I used to go to a local place and buy cigars there. So then they're telling me, well, we have a little cigar event coming up. And I'm like, okay. And I was hesitant. I was like, man, people. Don't want to go. Can I just have the event and no people there, you know? So I go. And what I discover in this small group of people is that at least half were veterans.
Right.
Okay. So now I'm feeling comfortable because I can talk to these people and, you know, kind of hang out and do whatever. And that's how it started to evolve. So I started to get involved with that. And it went from coping to hobby to passion, which is where I still remain today. And, you know, it's something, you know, my VA doctor has argued with me.
Please.
And we've agreed to disagree.
There you go.
Listen, I think as a nurse, you probably know that doctors don't know everything.
Mm-hmm. And I told him that, you know, because he knows, you know, me being a nurse. And I said, look, I'm perfectly aware of the risks. I said, but the benefits outweigh the risks.
Right.
I said, so in this case, I said, you'll never catch me with a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Would never do that. I said, these have no chemicals. I said, you're not inhaling, or you shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be, otherwise.
Okay, if you are, God bless you.
You got some lungs, boy, if you could do that.
I'm telling you.
So
we talked about doctors a little bit earlier. I got to say, Jerah, we have the great, the one and only, the military surgeon of the world, Dr. Oscar Rodriguez, is on. And by the way, Dee, he said, I need more sane nurses like her. That is from the military best himself.
That's awesome. That's
GTO,
awesome,
man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And that's what happened. That's how it got started. And, you know, I just went from there, and I met a lot of people, and, you know, and it just evolved. And
so maybe you like people, just your people.
Yes.
Not all
cigar smoking people.
Yeah.
Well, not all cigar smoking people. I mean, let me clarify that.
Not the ones in this room, anyway.
No. It's the law of large number. Anytime you get a large group of people together, there's going to be somebody you don't like.
He's an asshole. Well,
right, exactly. You know, so I just, you know, my asshole radar is really, really good. So I just sort of like.
But to a point, I've never been anywhere around a group of cigar smokers where it got heated.
No.
It's always been very congenial and passionate and enjoyable. There seems to be this bond that exists, and I don't know if it's this thread or this. To your point, how it helps you cope and calm and just relax. I think that's certainly part of it. You don't.
Why are we doing it? I mean, why are we doing it? We're not doing it because we want to smoke something.
Right.
No.
We were doing it because, number one, I tell people that are non-smokers, this is like wine tasting.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and so you develop a palate. You know, get your knowledge about cigars. You know, it's an adventure. I mean, I've been to Nicaragua 3-4 times, you know, things like that. And it's like, it's really, really a different world. It's a lifestyle. And so, you know, you can sit down with somebody and the cigar becomes the bridge to the differences.
It does. Yes. Oh, yes. Very good. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fellowship of the Leaf.
Yes, for sure.
100%.
Why don't we hold on? That's a good break because there's so much to go on that. Let's take a break. I know Bruce Stark is probably looking to go to the bathroom. So we're going to go to our sponsors right now. And everybody listening, please hit the share button. Please get this info out to everybody. And thank you. And if you have questions, keep them going. And we'll read something more from Dr. Oscar in a little bit.
Hurry up and pee, Bruce.
Take it away.
Yeah.
Run, Bruce, run.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines. The Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, The Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita 2-way humidification.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars, designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we are back, folks.
We are back.
We are back.
Hello,
And
hello,
we are
hello,
back.
everybody. Please hit the share button. All right, let's have a good time. And what do we got?
I have to. I have to talk about the cigar that Dee and Kevin from Rockefeller produced. Dee, tell us the story about first your puppy, and then how the genesis to a cigar, and a cigar that I can tell you folks is magnificent. 100%. This is a fantastic cigar. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
First of all, the label is so cute.
It is. It is.
Look at this baby dog.
It is. I mean,
Loved it.
That is my gunner. So in 20, there he is.
Schnauzer?
Yep, Schnauzer. Yeah, he was a little guy. He was real tiny.
Mini Schnauzer? Yeah.
Actually toy size.
Oh wow.
But yeah, he was interesting because I've had Schnauzers in my past, and I really love the breed.
Yeah.
They're smart, they don't shed. That's a beautiful thing. They don't shed. And just great dogs.
Oh,
and so around 2011, the VA said that a service dog probably wouldn't hurt me. PTSD. You didn't see a lot of them back then.
No.
Right.
And so very, very long story short, I came across Gunner and I got him.
As a puppy?
Yeah, I got him at 8 weeks.
Oh, a puppy. Okay.
Because I went to a couple organizations about service dogs, and part of the problem back then is I was so isolated. I would get up, go to work, come home, and that was it. I mean, I had all I could do to just go to work. And, I figured I had to pay the bills, so I muddled through it. Weekends would come, my truck would park on Friday night. You wouldn't see me come out the door, leave, do anything until Monday morning. And it wasn't like I was in my house with music blaring and dancing around and doing whatever. I would be sitting in silence. I didn't care to talk to anybody. It was just, and I was going downhill, And so I looked, I went to a couple places, and it meant I was going to have to drive, an hour, 2 hours to do training like 3 nights a week. And I'm like, there's no way. I can't handle that. And so I started researching and seeing about, can you train your own service dog? Like what goes through with this? What happens? So I found a trainer in my area. Ted is just phenomenal.
Had you had dogs before that though, Dee?
Yeah, but not on the steady, because with my lifestyle, there was just no way. I'm not going to leave a dog in a house for 12 hours and whatever. I'm just not going to do it. It's not fair. So I get this little guy, and about 14 weeks in, he's 14 weeks old, and Ted starts coming and training. And he was willing to come to my house. So this was like the perfect scenario, because I didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I could isolate but here's the magic. The second you get a dog, what do you start doing? You start talking to him, don't you?
Yeah.
So now I'm in the house and I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting up because I have to potty train him. I have to take him in and out. I have to get active, right?
Yeah.
So immediately, without being a service dog, he's already helping with the PTSD.
Right.
You're caring for something else other than you.
Yes, and something that loves you no matter what.
Unconditionally.
That's a tough thing with PTSD, because you feel like you got to save everybody around you from you. And so you keep people at arm's length. You just, you're sus about everything. It's just, it's not a good time. And so eventually this dog, he became my service dog. He's actually very well known in the cigar industry because he traveled everywhere. I was able to travel again. And I went to a lot of cigar events where I told you the cigars turned into passion. So Gunner was with me everywhere I went. He was to so many cigar events I can't even begin to tell you. That picture there with the flag, he's got my dog tags on. I love that picture.
Nice.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And so what happened was down the road, I'm at a wedding. This is like probably 4 years ago. I'm at a wedding and there's a woman there officiating that I know. And we're talking, and of course Gunner's with me, and she starts asking me about him. And so I tell her the story, and I tell her, I credit that dog with saving my life. We had a very spiritual connection, if you can imagine that, with the dog.
Yes,
very very spiritual. And so she starts thinking, and she gets together with her husband, and she says, you know what, why can't we do this same program for other veterans the way you did it? Let's talk to Ted. Let's, whatever. So this organization, New Jersey Dogs of Honor, came out of that. That's why that card that's with your cigars, that's actually on their website. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's the story about how New Jersey Dogs of Honor came to be, and it's because of Gunner. And if you look at the logo on the New Jersey Dogs of Honor, one of the silhouettes is actually Gunner.
Oh, wow.
Their logo.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. What a great story.
Yeah, and then sadly, unfortunately, in 2022, he fell ill very quickly, pancreatitis, and unfortunately, we were not able to save him. And he passed on Halloween, actually. It was a Monday, and my world was crushed in a way that I probably cried more tears for that dog, and still do, than I have for any person in my life. And it's not that I don't care, it's just that it's a different kind of love.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Dogs make you a better person.
Yeah. And so I had developed a good support system around me, and they were adamant with me. They're like, you can't be without a dog. We got to do something. We got to do something. Well, that story is nothing short of a miracle, because they told me, they said, call the place where you got him. And you have to understand that the puppies that this woman had, if she put them online, they were gone. I mean, they were just gone. You either got it right away or you didn't. And I in my tears, I look on the website and I see a dog, just one. And I wanted a male. I prefer the male dogs. And I called her and I said, Pam, I don't know if you remember me, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, I know exactly who you are. We used to have you and Gunner's picture on our website.
Nice.
So I said to her, I told her what happened through my tears. I told her, I said, and I don't even know. I said, this just happened. And everybody's telling me I got to get another dog. I said, and I see you have a dog on there. I said, is that guy available? She gets quiet and she starts to cry. Now I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? You know, like I can't handle this, right? And she says, I'm really sorry. It's not you. It's not you. She says, that dog was already sold months ago. And about a week ago, the woman called and said, I can't take him. She said, no problem. You know, here's your money back, whatever. She says, I said to Mike, my husband, we'll just put him back up on the website. She said, last night, she says, I looked at Mike and I said, I don't know what's going on. She says, this dog has been on this website for a week and we haven't gotten one call. She says, and then you call.
Wow. Oh. Was meant to be upstairs. Gunner's looking over you. He said he wants you to have him.
Definitely interesting. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And so I have a guy, he's laying around here somewhere. Finn. His name is Finn. He is a schnauzer also. Right? Yeah, he's lazing around having a drink after a hard day of work. He's named Finn. I'm very purposeful in the names because Gunner was Gunnar Godfrey, and you know it's actually Gunnar, which means brave warrior in Nordic, and then Godfrey means God's peace in German. Beautiful. So I called him my peaceful warrior. So that's how he got his name.
Oh, that's a yoga pose.
Yeah. And then Finn is actually Finn Ezekiel. And he has one blue eye. So even though he's a German dog, he got an Irish name.
Oh, man, baby. Finn McCool, baby. Finn McCool.
Oh, I got an Irishman right next to me. Oh, my God.
Sean Bigal.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So between the cigars and the dog, it changed my life completely. And I attribute both to good treatment for post-traumatic stress. Yeah. I mean, it works for me.
So many people don't talk about it though, because it's for whatever reason, it's tough to get around. It's a stigma. It's they don't know who to go to, what to do, how to resolve it.
Well, you said it right there, the stigma. So I do a lot of education as a nurse too. So I actually do presentations on post-traumatic stress. And when I talk with vets, because part of my job, I deal with a lot of vets all the time with claims and benefits with the VA. And so we get a lot of veterans with post-traumatic stress and they're not getting treatment. And so I will sit down and I will talk to them and I explain to them, look, I give them the brain chemistry. I tell them physically, this is what happens to your brain. And so in my mind, stop calling it post-traumatic stress disorder, because nobody likes that word. Somebody tells you have a disorder, you don't like that.
Right.
Nobody does, right? I said it's really post-traumatic stress injury, because you do have a brain injury. It changes the way your brain is wired.
Right.
And so because of that, you have these symptoms. And if you can look at it as not having to go into therapy and, I don't want to go talk about what happened all the time. You don't have to. You get that out of the way. And then what you do is you learn the tools to manage your PTS, because that's what I tell people. If you have hypertension, if you have another disease, what do? You go to the doctor and you find out how to manage it, right?
Right.
This is no different. And I tell my fellow vets, look, here's the deal. We can't get mad at the civilians around us for not understanding if we don't start talking.
Right.
That's you literally hit the nail on the head. I think another reason that PTS goes untreated a lot is because there is a lack, and I don't know that anybody's at fault here. It's just, this is just the way that it is. There's a lack of counselors that can speak to combat veterans. Yep. Now, it's not always combat veterans that have PTS, by the way. Right. But a lot of them are combat veterans. they go and see a counselor that has
No
never
clue.
been in the sand,
Yep.
that has never done any of this. And so I really wish that, or I wish that more combat veterans would use their GI Bill to go to school for that, so that they can, I mean, if it's what they want to do and if they're passionate about it, because there's a need for that. There's a need for people who have been there to do it. And there's a gal named Tempa Sherrill, who's actually my therapist. But she went to school to be a therapist because her husband came back from war and had PTS. Their marriage was almost nothing, right? And she was like, I want to save my marriage. And so then she started Stay the Course, which ended up marrying in with 22 Kill. But what she did was brilliant, because she goes and seeks out combat veterans who she thinks would be good at this, and she encourages them to get their GI Bill to go to go to school for this. And then she counsels the family, because that's where her expertise lies. The wives, the children, like, she understands what they're going through, and then she leaves it to the combat veterans to counsel the combat veterans. And I think that's really smart.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing. And I mean, like I said, we could do a whole show on just post-traumatic stress, but I do want to circle back and explain to you about the cigar. So out of all of that, when Gunner passed, like I said, it broke my heart broke in a way that I've never experienced. Mm-hmm. And so, doing the cigar thing, I had a few rough years between buying a shop December of 2019 and COVID hitting March of 2020.
Wow.
Okay. I tried. I tried. I will tell you, I tried. But eventually we were forced to close. And that was a humbling and horrible experience all at the same time. But I learned a lot. And I got to meet a ton of great people, went to PCA, did a lot of different things. And so out of that, I'm very tight with the Lazona guys, Eric Espinosa and those guys. Yep. But one of my good buddies is Kevin Schweitzer.
Yep.
Good man.
Yeah, he is a good man. He would come to the shop and I would see him at events and stuff like that. And so at PCA, we had joked, this was when Gunner was still alive, and we were talking, and I said, he said, we need to do a cigar for him. So, we kind of went down that rabbit hole for a little bit and then moved on, and I never forgot that. So I wanted to do something purposeful for Gunner. And so I was very deliberate. I thought about this for a long time and decided how I wanted to do it. And I wanted to get the word out about New Jersey Dogs of Honor. So hopefully people will donate also. And it'll bring some awareness to how dogs help. So I called Kevin and I talked to him, and he says, I'm on board. We're doing it. Nice. And I worked with him, and he was, like I said, he sort of knew my palate a little bit anyway. And trust me, I'll smoke anything once. So I'll smoke from Connecticut to, a triple Maduro. I don't care. I love them all. There's a time and place for each one.
Right.
So this particular cigar that you're smoking is a Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Yep.
Okay. And it has a Nicaraguan Habano binder.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's the fillers that kind of finishes this off. They're all Nicaraguan.
Yep.
And we've got one of the tobaccos I love is Ometepe.
No, yeah. That minerality.
Right, because it gives that earthy kind of depth to a cigar. So
you get that in the last third too.
Yes, exactly. You actually bring out some coffee.
Coming in strong.
Yeah, coffee and the chocolate. Heavy chocolate. I mean,
right from the start.
Yeah, right from the get-go.
When I get mine, I'll let you know.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, stop! I'm only bitching, but yeah, when I get mine, I'll take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture. Make sure we want proof that you smoked it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Don't just say you liked it. But so it has this gamut of flavors because you've got the Ometepe, you've got Esteli and Jalapa. And I'm a huge lover of jalapa because that adds that little bit of
combination
sweetness,
creaminess,
and whatever else.
Yeah, that creaminess.
Yes. So you get a smoke that pretty much anybody can smoke it. It's not going to knock your socks off. So if you're a cigar smoker like me, I can smoke this in the morning with my coffee with no problem. But I can have it after a steak dinner too.
Okay.
So to me, like I'm pairing it now. I'm more of a coffee drinker. I do imbibe, but I'm more of a coffee drinker. So I have a cup of coffee that I'm smoking with it, which kind of just enhances it. But yeah, so we did it. I did a small run, only 1,000 cigars, and we released it. I had to find a place that could do it online, which is very hard to find in this area, close to where I'm at. So I went up to Caravan Cigars and we did it up there. And a lot of people ordered online and whatever. And I still have a bunch. So I'm going to take them. We just got a new shop in Vineland that opened up, and I'm very pleased. I'll support them 150% so they succeed. They want some of these. And another place down toward the shore wants some. So I don't want to go into cigar manufacturing. It's not why I did it.
It's tough.
But I can see myself in a year maybe doing one for Finn.
Oh,
right. Kind of continuing that tradition and maybe highlighting service dogs.
Nice.
Yeah, the canine collection.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we have a marketing professional on the show. I don't know if you knew that.
Let me see. Which one could it be? The one without the cigar, right?
Well, I do smoke. Again, my caveat. I do smoke, but I don't smoke in the house. And I live, by the way, I'm on Long Island. So
yeah.
So we don't have a 4-season room. So I don't smoke, in the winter months, but I am.
Oh, blame it on your husband. Just do it.
I know.
It's little Tim.
Ronnie, you know,
That's
true.
it.
I'm always like, can I close the door and smoke? And he's like ready to stab me in the head. He's like, doesn't want me.
Yeah.
I
need
live
a good
alone.
product from Lake Air.
Yeah.
Take
I
the
live
smoke
alone.
right in.
Except I have a stepdaughter down in the basement, so I'm in my kitchen, and yes, I'm smoking. So
good for you.
I have a rabbit ear in here.
I always, when I'm on the show every month, it always aggravates me because outside in the summertime I can do it, but in the winter and cooler months I cannot.
So
right,
I'll forgive you. Ask, to try to tie these things together. You have the stick, you have veteran affairs, you have the love of canines. How do you bring those things together? Because I have a lot of ex-saints who fought, and it's hard for them to come back.
Ronnie's on dial-up internet. That's why he's so
He
fuzzy.
He's on dial-up again.
What's the matter?
Ron's on dial-up internet.
It looks like you have Vaseline on your camera lens.
He's got Vaseline lens.
Got Luigi's internet.
That's
my concern is,
that's to soften the blow of
people to see him
of ugliness.
He looks so
AOL
beautiful.
strikes again.
Look at him.
Thank you.
He's got that AOL dial-up working.
Yep,
Wow.
AOL. Yeah.
So how do we bring these things together? It's like, for veterans, it's important for camaraderie. I mean, but it's
I think that if you can get shops and organizations, because there's a lot of organizations out there, really, when you think about it, there's a ton out there for law enforcement.
Yeah.
In our area there is, and they kind of lump us in with all that, you know what I mean? And it's the same, but it's not. I don't know how else to say it. It's not. It's not the same.
Know. Yeah.
So
what's
interesting
to me, excuse me, D. One of our good friends, Sanj Patel, he just put out a stick for his canine, which was Oriole, and it was called Oriole's Tail, and it also went out there to help canine organizations, service dogs. So you're not alone in this effort, because there are other folks out there trying to do the same. So it seems like there's definitely the need is there.
Yeah.
So you're definitely tapped into something that I think is going to be successful. And also Ishmael from BAMF, he has a canine line that was started because of his love of his own dog. So I think you've struck a nerve, So I think you're on the right path.
I think that if you can get shops and organizations to hold events specifically
right
for veterans to smoke cigars, or at least at least introduce them to that, because some of them may not, and contact somebody in your area that maybe has a therapy dog. Doesn't have to be somebody with a service dog. If you get a therapy dog in there and you have a smoking thing, and you hope that the person is amenable to their therapy dog being being in with a bunch of smoke. I think that those events,
Jake the dog,
if they're veteran specific, would be very, very helpful, because it's going to draw them out. They're going to have the same sort of reaction that I did. Like, I don't really want to be around people, because look, I tell my people at work, there's me and one other veteran. The rest of my crew are civilians, and they know that if the two veterans get in the room and the office door shuts, you probably don't want to come in the middle of the conversation, because you're probably going to hear shit that like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? It's like, do you have it now?
Well, as the president of our club, my concern is how do we support those who supported us? So, Dee, and it's a great point. People will think, they think combat veterans, but combat veterans, for every boot on the ground, there's a team behind the line.
Yes, thank you.
Who are when wounded are coming into the hospital, you're seeing the end result of combat.
Of the worst of the worst.
I'm saying the worst of the worst, and you can't. And like I said, to me, it's like I tell people, look, movies and all that stuff, we glamorize war.
Right.
And there's nothing fucking glamorous about it. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's horrible. And, when you're faced with that, and then you have, like, I'm gonna segue into this also, is that especially in your female population. So that's another problem that we have. I can be out in a group of people, and if there's a bunch of guys sitting around and somebody will say something to one, and they'll say, oh, you're a veteran, and they'll ask around, they'll never ask me. Won't even dawn on them to ask. Okay. So there's that issue. And it's not, it's just because we don't walk around a lot of times with the baseball cap on, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's not an identifier. Right. I do it more because I wear those military t-shirts to work and stuff like that. So I'm a little bit more identifiable. But at this point, I'm 65 years old. I'm busted up from 9.5 years in the military. So I've gained weight. I just look like a middle-aged or older, female. And when I give talks, I say to them, I say to the group, I'll say, so if you saw me out in public, you'd automatically think, oh, there's a veteran. I said, you can't assume that someone is not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that, and then you have the whole MST, the military sexual trauma. That's a whole thing. I wouldn't have had to work as an sane nurse if we didn't have those things going on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a victim of it myself. So it happens. So you have a conglomerate of veterans out there that are not just all combat. And I think that you have to open it up to all vets with post-traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you made the really good point of, in the very beginning when we started talking about this, about how, there is a stigma with PTS that it's very associated with combat. And it doesn't have to be.
No.
It's the who's taking care of the wounded. That's morbid, injuries that you're seeing. The sexual trauma that you're seeing. The people who are just straight up fearful. Maybe they went into the military thinking, I'm just going to get some free college. And they didn't really, and there's not, I don't know that there's a true way to prepare yourself.
There's not
for that.
There's not.
Like, there's not.
I had people say that to me, like, "Oh, you knew what you signed up for," and I looked at them and said, "Really? Oh yeah, you get that. People say their stupid stuff.
Opinions are like assholes.
Yeah,
everyone got one, and most of them stink.
My special term for people like that is fucktard.
There you go. Plain and simple.
Okay.
Can we spell that?
Yes, very easily.
I also gravitate between twat waffle and asshat. Just saying.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
So you spell fucktard FRANK.
Frank, wow, that was a zinger.
Listen, I don't pay any attention to Jerah because when she starts on things that are obviously outside of her control.
Balloons again. Let's see the balloons.
Yeah, really.
Give me my flowers.
I mean, sometimes fucktard is spelled me, myself, and I.
Yeah,
So that can be just as bad.
Sometimes when you're at dinner and there's a salad involved, it's spelled
We go back to
RO.
Hey, don't touch my salad. Huh? Leave the salad alone. How did you bring the salad into a cigar show?
I can tie in anything. You know me. I can tie in anything. Well, I think that I think it's so important what you're doing, and it seems to me like even though because we didn't even get into the conversation. I mean, we had like a 10-minute conversation this weekend, so we didn't even really get into it that deep. But the more that I'm learning is, and I know that you probably don't care to hear this because you're a pretty humble lady, but it seems to me like you were actually kind of on the front line of this service dog situation to a degree, and kind of identifying that, or kind of taking the good advice of somebody and working this into your life and identifying the benefits of it and not just, relying on being the victim. You know what I mean? Like you were like, how do I get out of this?
That's you just said something major, and that goes across the board, military, non-military, it doesn't matter, is victimology is huge. And when you decide not to be the victim, you're going to take action.
Yeah.
And control.
And to me, that's part of it. A service dog allowed me to take back control of my life. And I didn't lose the symptoms. So it wasn't about that. It was about another tool to manage and allow me to navigate through the world where I couldn't on my own.
Right.
And isn't it wild that a stick also helped you with that?
Oh God, yeah.
A tobacco
I do that all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. Because to me, it's like I have my habit. When I get up in the morning, I have a cigar and coffee to start my day. So that I just kind of go into work a little mellow because things are not always easy. We know that when you're dealing with people.
And veterans, yes.
And veterans. Not all veterans. Look, I always say, just because a person's a veteran or military doesn't mean they're not a fucktard or an asswipe. Okay? So,
but it's
people
true,
are people. The people are people wherever you go. Yeah. So, and then at the end of the day, I always have a cigar with me because when I go out in the parking lot and get in my vehicle, I light up my cigar. And I smoke that. I have a short ride home, but I smoke it and I come in and I finish that cigar before I do anything else at night because that allows me to just kind of recenter. It's that time to think, to breathe, to, and sit there and enjoy the flavors. For me, we didn't get into that, but I'll just briefly mention it, is doing cigar reviews.
Right.
Is being able to do that, being able to take.
We have time and we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know, whether I was like, there was a timer going off saying we've had enough for her. So.
No. Our numbers are, honestly, our numbers are amazing for you this evening.
Are they? That's good.
We have a lot of vets on and they're feeling and responding to the things that you're saying. Clay Atkins is a big supporter. Again, Dr. Oscar. We got a lot of vets on.
That's awesome. I'm glad to know that.
Sorry. So
I'm glad to know that.
Please continue.
Yeah. So, so to me, it's like, if this keeps me centered and my service dog keeps me centered and allows me to navigate the world, I can't complain. I'm a happy camper. Right. I have all my limbs, I have, I wear a shirt that says everything hurts because that's the truth. You can't go in the military at 43 and do what 20-somethings are doing and do it sometimes better than them. Yep. Because when you get in your 50s, all of a sudden your body goes, ha, you thought you were getting away with it.
Ma'am, testify.
And so I'm beat up.
Give me a break. You're 41. What?
42.
Whoa,
Don't give a number
42.
away. Oh, hold
Yep,
on.
yep. I wasn't in the military yet. Remember that. You got another year before I went in. So when I tell you, I did 9.5 years. And so, the whole VA rating system, that whole thing, we'll talk, that's a whole other subject, but I am now 100% permanent and total. But my ankles, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my neck, I have a neck injury, believe it or not, from training in the desert in California in a grenade run. Because they couldn't read my badge, and they decided it was an infantry group. So, we know how 11 Bravos are, right? I love them. I love them to death. I love them to death, but, they couldn't read. And so I was supposed to be there to train combat medics, and they made me a platoon leader. And I wound up, I'm trained as a rear gunner, and 50 cal is my weapon of choice.
Wait a minute. What rank were you when you did that?
I was a lieutenant, first lieutenant.
Wow.
They had you running a platoon as a first lieutenant?
Mm-hmm. I was a company commander at first lieutenant.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense. Usually captain.
That makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so they had me running a platoon, and we were doing all combat training. So instead of helping people put IVs in and do all that, I'm the rear gunner. I'm the convoy commander. I'm the rear gunner. I'm eating dust and, real time, live fire, stuff that people, that's why I always laugh and say, well, people say, oh, you were a nurse. And it's like, yeah, I was, but you're a soldier first. So guess what?
Well, and that's all because an 11 Bravo can't read.
Right. And I love them. I love them to death, man. We need our 11 Bravos, and but it just I don't know. You just do so many different things, and like I said, you put veterans in a room, and we can relate no matter what we've done, right? So it's the same thing with the cigar thing. It would stand to reason that it would go well with being veterans.
You're absolutely right. So once you took back the control and you had the cigars, you had the dog, how did we get into the reviewing part of this endeavor?
Well, that was a lot of connections, and I didn't go asking. It was one of those things where I happened to be, where was I? God. It's like sort of like where's Waldo? I can't remember exactly where I was, but I ran into Emmett and Zane, who run Blind Man's Puff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so we got to talking, and they brought me on. I became one of their blind reviewers. And I loved it because it really ups your game, because you don't know what you're smoking. So you can't have any unconscious. You can't have any unconscious bias.
Yep.
Right. And there are times, that you do recognize definitely the role. The manufacturer. There are certain cigars you smoke and you go, "This has got to be such and such." But it's really great because we're in teams of like 5 of us, and you get your cigars, and the labels are all numbers, so you have no idea what you're smoking, and you smoke that cigar. They have a form that they use. You go on, you write your reviews, for construction, draw, burn, appearance, aroma. Then you do your first, second, third, and then your overall impressions. And that gets submitted, and then they take, and we don't assign any number values. We do nothing like that. We just, good, fair, very good, excellent,
Right.
Whatever, damn near perfect, that kind of stuff. And they take all that from the 4 or 5 people, and they have their formula for averaging it into a number. And then when they put the post up, you'll see that they take blurbs from each person,
Right.
and kind of put them, whatever. And then you'll see an overall score, and they assign a number. So it's a pretty cool thing. So sometimes we don't know what we smoked until it goes up on the page.
Right.
If I get really anxious, I will text Zane and say, "What the fuck was that?" Like I really liked it, or "Oh, that really sucked." So
Well, you gotta see it the way it is when you're a
Have there
reviewer.
been any true surprises?
Yeah, that once in a while. I had one. Oh God, about maybe a year or two ago, and it came out of Oveja Negra, which is Black Works. And I knew the second I lit that baby up, I said, "This has got to be out of this factory." So it pretty much was what I thought it was. There's some that you find out that were getting rave reviews when they had the label on them, and not so much when we smoked them blind, because you don't have that preconceived idea. You're not writing to the label.
To the label, right?
That's marketing for you.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Which, like I said, Emmett was a genius coming up with this. It's there's nothing else out there like it. So then last year I was down at La Zona Palooza in Florida. That's something that Eric Espinosa does once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Acuff was down there. I've known him and Barb for a long time because I'm one of the OGs from Cigar Dojo. You guys know Cigar Dojo?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been a member on there since 2013. So
wow.
it's been a long while. I'm one of their Hall of Famers. So I get talking to him, and he writes for Smoking Tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so he starts talking to me. He says, we really need somebody else. And so he starts talking to me and this, that, and the other. And I said, okay, I'll give it a whirl. I'll do one and let you guys let me know if I am up to snuff for you. So I did, and they brought me on. And
Jerah, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what is this, Jerah?
Me,
I mean,
Jerah.
you're just in a balloon.
You're talking about me being an F-tard? I'm looking at you saying, at least I'm not popping balloons.
She's having her own party.
What do you mean
She's
you're
having
not
her own
doing it?
party over there.
All we see is balloons. That's all we see.
She's the balloon girl now. So that's
I'm
going to
not
be your
doing it.
nickname. Jerah the
Well, who's
balloon
doing
girl.
Yeah.
Look, if
balloon
people
head
want to
Jerah.
celebrate me, it costs $0 to mind your own business. Okay, somebody is putting balloons in here. I don't know. I'm not doing anything. I haven't touched anything. I'm taking notes over here. I'm smoking my cigar. I'm listening, and I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. I was trying to listen, and you interrupted.
I don't know why that's happening, honestly.
You know what, Jerah? Ignore them. Dee, please continue. This is ladies' night.
Cheers to the ladies.
Cheers to the ladies.
Wow. Hey, by the way, D, look at this cigar. It's an hour and a half in, and look at this, guys.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Listen,
I'm not putting this down.
I can't get enough of this
Mine
cigar.
is also
because-
beautiful.
Oh,
I just finished mine because I just lit it a little bit ahead of you guys. I just finished it, but
so we
it's
can honestly
awesome.
say it's a good hour and a half smoke, folks.
It is, and it's a fantastic smoke.
Yeah, I'm down to the same.
How do you get these, by the way? Can
we
let
need to
people
get-
know
we need to
because our
get
people want to know.
People are gonna want to get these.
So here's the deal right now, because the shop that had them that you could order them online, he was not after the event. Because it's not a mainstream cigar, I don't think it got. I'll use this word. I'll be polite. It didn't get marketed well after the fact.
I know
So
a
I
company,
got
a company can help you. Cigar
right.
Box
I got them
Company.
back. And the two shops that I'm taking them to are not online.
Oh.
But
Oh.
here's the deal. I am willing, if somebody wants to DM me on Facebook,
There we go.
they can order them from me.
There we go.
Pay direct. They'll have to pay the shipping, and I'll send them out.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go,
What do you
folks.
sell them as? 5-packs?
Yeah. I did them in 5-packs because I felt like that was easier for people.
it is
A lot of
easier.
times people can't buy a
5-pack is
whole.
nice. Absolutely.
Yeah, 5-pack is good.
Yeah.
So how can
you know,
they get in touch with you to do that on what
Just
on
DM on
social
Facebook.
media?
On Facebook, whoever went Facebook stalking me, they want to make sure they get Dee Pittman, Queen of Cigars, not Diana Pittman. I do have a private account that I don't really use, only for my class reunions and shit. So that's it. Otherwise, again,
D,
We
people
talking
want to know.
Diana, just Dee.
She's not that people-y.
it's great. I was just going to say it's too people on there for me, man. I'm like, I
You got
got it.
5 people on there. That's a lot. Don't worry about it. But D, people are asking how much is the price for the 5-pack?
I sold them for $52. I'm going to make them $50, and then you'll have to pay shipping.
Perfect.
Which is usually around $8, but it's $10 a stick, and to me, that's definitely at least a $10 stick.
Oh, and it's definitely worth every penny. It's a great cigar for $10 a stick. It's worth.
It's a steal, actually. Yeah,
it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So they can get them that way, and I have them till they run out. I'm going to take them to this other 2 shops this weekend and get them in their storefronts. And I just want to get the word out and do whatever. So, like I said, going back to the reviews, I do want to. It's going to be sort of a shameless plug, but it's not. So I have to tell you, when they first told me about smoking tobacco, I went to go online to see it, and I typed in smoking tobacco, and I couldn't find it.
No.
Because it's spelled TABACCO. Yep. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm squirreling out here because I like to write, and I'm thinking, what the fuck, man? Why are they spelling tobacco wrong? Right? So that's my first reaction. Okay? That's my first reaction. And then I find out that the dude's name, him and his wife, is actually Tobacco.
Yeah.
TABACCO.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mind blown.
There you go. It's an Italian way of spelling things. What can I tell you?
Yeah. So
it doesn't make it right.
No,
everything Italian pride. Hey, you.
Yeah, it bothers me. I hate it that it's spelled tobacco, but I understand why. I have to tolerate it, But they're great, Kevin, he does reviews. Nicole Tobacco, she might be somebody you might want to consider bringing on.
We did, didn't we?
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, we haven't had Nicole on.
No, we have not.
No.
Well, we will then.
Yeah.
Ladies, that's your job.
Yeah. And I will say that you could have her on, and you could actually the shop that opened up in my area is a husband and wife. So she would probably be a great gal for you to talk to also, Devin.
Where are you, Dee?
I'm in Vineland, and
Vineland.
It's a new shop called Ignite.
Okay.
And, I'm going to do everything I can to support them because I know what it was like for me. But like I said, they don't have COVID to contend with. So they'll be okay. But yeah, so I love doing the reviews. It's my niche. I like it because I like to write. And I don't ever badmouth cigars. I will say that to you. Right. Do not do that. I think that's bad taste as a reviewer. You can find a nice way to say something without bashing people, without putting a cigar down, because you know what? Why do we have so many cigars out there? Because there's so many different palates.
Exactly.
So if you badmouth something today and Joe Schmo down the road loves it, maybe you just lost a sale for somebody.
Right.
Well, that's just people that want to make a name. I'm sorry. My opinion.
Yeah. I don't have any desire to do that, because I will do things even in Blind Man's Puff. I'll say things that this is not normally in my wheelhouse, and so it's not a cigar that I would choose every day. But for this person who likes this, and this, it would be great. So
yeah, it's not a mechanical thing.
No.
Like when I review guns, sometimes I'm like, this is trash, but it's because it's a mechanical thing. It's not put together well. There's not good quality there. It's totally different.
Yeah.
I love that. So you have an Instagram as well, right?
I do. I'll be honest with you. I don't go on it a lot. I can if I need to, but
you need to do that to help your cigar stuff.
I know I do. Let me preface this.
That was a consultation, by the way.
We'll talk offline, you and I.
Yeah.
When the cigar shop failed and then Gunner passed, I went into a very dark place. I'm not going to lie to you about that. And all of it felt overwhelming, because when you own a shop, I was working full time.
Oof.
Right. And I'm not a young chicken, and I didn't want to be doing that. I had some issues with, the partner didn't last. There was, all these things that happen.
We've all had that.
And so as a result, I just burned out in a way that I was so ready. I was going to sell all my cigars and just buy 5 packs for the week. I was just so done with everything. Right. And so I knew when I hit that danger point that what I had to do was pull back from everything. So the only thing that I posted on was Cigar Dojo, and I withdrew pretty much. I went off, off the radar for about a year, a little over a year. And then I slowly emerged, but I'm doing it in a way that's comfortable for me. I don't want to be overwhelmed like that ever again. It was just not a good place to be in. Right. And so, I'm particular, because how much of our time do we spend on social media? I love it. I absolutely love social media, but on the same token, it can interfere with quality of life. So for me, it's like I take pictures of cigars when you're smoking them. Well, there's times where I go, no pictures, no camera, no nothing. I'm just going to sit down and smoke a cigar. I don't care how good it looks. I don't need to take a picture and post it. Just be in that moment.
Right.
Well, you come back bigger and better, D. That's for sure. Come back.
So that's where I'm at. So that's why I have these accounts from before, but I don't go on them on the regular. I mainly use Facebook, Dee Pittman, and I use Cigar Dojo. I don't do a lot otherwise, but I can't.
That's what all of us old folks do anyway.
Yeah.
It's Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Look at her with her old folk. I'm gonna
old folk. I heard that.
I can't.
She's the youngest one here.
42 years old.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm in the
Show
club.
the balloons.
Whether you
Show
like
the
it or
balloons.
not,
Shut up.
Kathy,
Show
I'm in
the
the club.
balloons.
Okay.
Go to the balloons, please.
Give her black
Somebody
balloons.
give me some more
Black
balloons.
balloons for being old.
Black balloons. That's
Okay.
it.
And being the tech guy that I am, the reason Jerah's doing the balloon thing is because it's iOS, and every time she does a peace sign or a thumbs up, it's giving her balloons. So
there you go.
it's a weird iOS thing. So
There goes Kyle saving the day.
I just did it, and I thought somebody was like celebrating all the things
I thought
I
it
was
was
saying.
Frank busting on your ass.
No, I was looking at Frank's hands. Frank's hands were not moving. I said, then it's got to be Kyle. But then
Don't
Kyle just
cover for him. Don't cover for him because that's your family.
Hey, I take care of my
know him.
family.
There's a
I don't
bias.
know against the family.
That's right.
There's a huge bias.
Oh my God.
Dee,
All right.
Dee, I am like, man, I think that you're probably going to be my new best friend. I have a gift.
Even after I said I don't like people?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Sarah,
You're going to force me?
Hold on,
You're
at a
gonna force
distance.
me
She's
to
in
be
Texas.
people-y?
Don't worry.
That's what makes it so perfect. Is the distance. But I have a gift I want to send you. It's actually a coffee cup that I just bought. I haven't even used it yet, but this is so weird. So you know how you were talking about how the dog, Gunner passed away, and then you were like, hey, I'm going to get this other dog, and you weren't sure that there would be one available, and then this whole sort of divine intervention thing happened. I literally just bought this coffee mug, and it says, I can't, it's just too people-y out there.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
And I literally bought it last week, not knowing you yet, and it now has to be yours.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's perfect.
Wait, Jared, do you still have your dog?
Bo, or I have Snoopy.
Yeah,
now.
Snoopy.
Yeah. Bo passed away a couple years ago. He was very
I meant
special to me.
Snoopy.
But
I knew. Unfortunately, Bo.
I'm gonna go find my boy so you can see.
Oh, we have to
we want to see him. Yeah.
While she's doing that,
yes, Frank, go ahead.
I will send us to our wonderful magical sponsors. But before we do that, let's explain to people our next segment when we do come back. It's called Stump Soccer Squatch.
There you go.
And if you don't know what a soccer squatch is, well, I'll give you a little bit of a window into what. Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Get the baby. Get the baby.
Hey, Fred.
Oh, what a baby.
Where's my cigar, Mama?
He has beautiful markings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a gorgeous guy.
Oh,
He's handsome
wow.
when he knows it.
Look at he's got his arms wrapped around you. Oh,
yeah.
And
This is one of the things he does for me. It's called
shy.
hugging.
Oh,
He doesn't even want to see the choochers. Look at that.
no. He's
Look
like, it's all
away.
about
We're
mom.
hideous.
I don't want to see the
No.
chooches, and I'm related to them.
No.
So in this next segment, which used to be Stump the Chooch, and the Chooch became very famous. But this was our mascot.
Joey, we're on.
There is the Chooch, also known as.
We only heard his Joey sound.
That's it.
We didn't see him. We didn't see him, Frank. He didn't show up.
That's because you're on dial-up. You'll get it like in 4 hours from now.
Yes, you'll get it. You'll get it at some point.
I'm going to drink to
Now,
that.
Kyle Teresa's on the bike, riding the bike really fast.
So when we come, folks, we're gonna play this little game. And Steve Saka loves that so much because it resembles Mickey Peg.
Oh, Mickey, man, you hit our boy, man.
Yes,
it does.
Hey, what are you gonna do? So when we come back right after these words from our sponsor, we're going to be giving away some things. Ronald put that up, and we will return right after this.
Great cigars take time. The Fortaleza Libre story began in 2013 with the idea of starting a brand of cigars that would exemplify the strength and freedom that define America. Our premium cigar voyage for quality and taste led us to the Dominican Republic and the tobacco fields of Santiago and Tamboril. Tabacalera El Joyito would become a trusted partner, and in 2019, our smoking strong and living free journey was realized with the arrival to our shores of the Fuerte Libre Bodacious. Fast forward 5 years, 2024, Fuerte El Libre rebrands to Fortaleza El Libre. Same meaning, strong and free. Our portfolio has grown to 6 core lines to satisfy the palates of cigar smokers worldwide. For more information, visit our website at fylcigars.com. Smoke strong, live free. Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature Firehouse cigar line. All engines respond. Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
And we're back, folks.
We are back, folks. We are back.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are.
What are we giving away tonight?
Well, Ronnie, what are we giving away?
Let's talk very low. The puppy's sleeping.
The Puppy's lesson. That's what
All
happened.
right, all right. Well, we got
you're
your
welcome
choice
up.
of. You got your beautiful soccer hats.
All right.
You have colors. You got whatever color you want. So tonight, let me know which one you want. Okay.
All right.
That's one. And we got a fabulous coffee mug.
Ooh.
Tonight.
Ooh, I like that.
Or is that the frog juice? Which one is that? Umbagog?
Yep.
Umbagog. Okay.
That looks very sturdy.
Oh, it's solid.
It's if Ronnie's holding it, it has to be sturdy.
Yeah, it's got to be to hold that battery acid that I drink.
Because he almost ate that cup.
When? And we got a couple of cigars from Mr.
A couple of cigars. Yeah, there you go. We've got a bunch of cigars. So 3 cigars. Throw 3 cigars in there.
We'll throw 3 cigars. Why not? 3 cigars. Choice of hat. A coffee mug.
That's good.
That's
pretty
good.
good.
Right? That's good. It's nice.
That's good.
Hey, that's a nice. That's a nice little thing there, Ron. You do all right.
I thought so. I thought people would be happy tonight.
Nice.
Why not?
Nice.
Orlando, no, you can't have the coffee cup. Goodbye, Orlando.
Goodbye. And I'm not going to put D on the spot. So, D, do you think it would be possible if maybe a second prize could be a 5-pack?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Ooh. Let me tell you, folks, whoever gets that 5-pack is going to thank me for asking that very important question.
Yes.
Okay.
When you see Frank, make sure you do this to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
make sure when you see me, and even if you don't see me, say it was Ronnie's fault. Because that's usually the case.
That is always the case.
All right, where's my questions?
Uh-oh.
There they are.
I don't know.
There you go. I knew I had them. Listen, I never come not prepared. Okay?
That's true.
All right.
Well, you're always prepared, big man.
Always.
I cannot tell a lie.
All right, this is going to be the first question. I'm going to date this for people like Jerah because I know how important history is to her.
She loves history.
She loves history. So we're going to go back to 1598, Jerah.
There you go.
What the
fuck? Jerah, right in your wheelhouse.
Can't wait.
So,
I know. I can't. I don't get it. Why did he do this?
The first theater appearance in America of the Spanish comedy. What was the Spanish comedy that appeared in the first performance of in America, basically?
No bueno.
1598. See that?
1598.
It was a comedy, Bob.
Frank's like, what? Can I,
Bob
he's
should
like,
know
how
this.
far back can I go?
I tried to find the furthest, backdated history question that I could, so Jerah could really be annoyed.
Spanish theater comedy?
It was a comedy. Bob, you should know this.
I didn't get tickets.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Bob missed out. Tickets were too expensive.
It was sold out.
They were 3
It was
cents.
sold out.
They were 3 cents. Bob couldn't afford it.
They were sold out.
3 Musketeers. I don't know if that was.
It was Rocks or Wampum. That was it.
It was Rio Grande.
Oh, like the movie.
Yes.
Like the movie, but I don't
Like
think
the
that was
river.
bueno.
Like the river.
No bueno. That's
Like
a
the
good.
river.
Listen, Jerah, will you please brush up on some history and stop with the Frank bad jokes?
D,
That's okay.
D, you gotta help me out, sis. Okay, like,
Oh my
this
God.
is what he does. See, Frank forgets that we were all born like
In this century.
not then. Okay,
I don't know. I remember it was a pretty good year.
This.
D,
All right,
you're
I'm
supposed to
gonna.
be on my side.
I'm gonna move up the date a little
Move
just
up
to
the
help
date to
Jerah out.
1692.
Oh, we're going to the 1600s now.
I'm gonna move up the date to help Jerah, only because I love Jerah this much. So Jerah, in 1952, this toy was the very first toy advertised on television. What was this toy?
Rubik's
Barbie.
Cube.
The Rubik's Cube.
Oh my God, no.
Barbie. It's a Barbie
No,
doll.
Was it
No,
Barbie?
not Barbie.
No,
59
Barbie. No.
No. Bob should know this.
Trains.
It was named after him.
Bob the
Bob the
Builder.
Bob the Builder.
No.
Hula hoop.
It was Mr. Potato Head.
Wow.
And back then, it was a real potato.
It was a real potato.
It was a real potato. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a real potato.
You had the parts and you put it
The
in.
shelf life was very short.
You would go to the store and buy a real potato in a
No.
box?
You take it from your mother.
You take your
bought
mother's
all the
potato.
accessories.
No, Jerah, it was a box of little plastic pieces.
Yeah.
And you would put the hat on, the ears,
Yes.
the nose.
They had little pins,
Yeah.
and you stuck it into.
Yeah.
See?
And then when you were
So much more very true. I think I had
when you
it.
were tired of it, you just
First
cooked
what?
potato.
That was the first toy
Wow.
ever promoted on TV.
And I actually remember that. I know, Bob, you have to. I remember it, and I'm
Oh,
younger
yeah.
than all of you.
I
I
remember
was in
that.
diapers.
toy.
Well,
Trust me.
except for Jerah and Kyle. And
Yeah.
I think I'm older than you two.
Bob couldn't remember because the margaritas kicked in.
1 margarita, 2 margaritas, 3 margaritas. Oh.
All right. One more for you, Chooches, because obviously you all have failed miserably so far. Well, let's see if you got this one. I mean, if you don't know this one, I don't know. Even
Forget
Jerah
about
should
it.
know this. Even Jerah. 1992, Jerah, on this date in history. Very important time.
No, she was still a child.
I was 10.
Yes, but you should have been watching. You should have been watching this show because it was the 208th and final episode of this show on NBC.
Mickey Mouse
Mash.
show.
Bob, no.
Come on, folks. I'm really
Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues, yeah.
Johnny
No.
Carson.
no,
Tim yelling from the background.
no.
You have to give some kind of context. Is it a talk show? Is
Sorry,
it
you were 10. The Bill Cosby Show, Jerah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Well, that's
okay.
because Jerah was roofied. She didn't remember the Bill
Oh,
Cosby.
no.
Wow.
Oh, Kyle, I see a
Oh,
red
Kyle's
dot on your
going down.
forehead.
Yeah, he's been silent the whole time and then just rolls in
course.
with a zinger.
He's just
Wow.
waiting for that one.
He loves singers. He loves it.
All right, one more for you because I'm really in a giving mood.
Oh, yeah, you're so giving.
Ooh,
I'm very much
wow.
a giving guy. Giving.
Okay,
All
D,
the time.
can you hang out for this one?
Okay.
She's like,
In
what the fuck did I
2000
get myself into?
2015.
Oh, Jerry, there you go. You're
Jerah,
sold.
Sarah,
You
you're a
should-
younger
This
woman.
is a little bit more. This is more in your wheelhouse. Okay.
30 something.
This soul and R&B singer died at Hackensack University Medical Center at the age of 76. Bob.
2015.
2015. Some of his singles included.
Oh, then you're going to give the answer.
I know.
Mr. White.
Save the Last Dance for Me.
Oh.
Benny King.
There we go.
Very
Benny King. Yes.
Benny King.
Benny
Oh,
King. Look
He
at
sang
Jerah.
my wedding song, Stand
Jerah's
By Me,
like-
so close I had to know it.
It's-
He died in Hack-
he died in Hackensack General. Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, there you
Being
go.
from New Jersey, D, I thought you would have gotten that one. But
He's too busy saving
Violence-
the world.
I
Yeah.
was too busy not peopling. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
He wasn't paying attention to Benny.
That's right,
I
Benny.
didn't care. Oh, that happened to a people. I don't need to
That's
know.
right.
Now, if it was Lassie, different story.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, you should. If you
You're-
had any forethought, you would have had some dog questions.
If I had any forethought, thank you, Jerah, for your lovely commentary tonight. It's been a
Will
pleasure
not be
having you.
invited back. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Next month, speed things up, okay?
Yeah.
Next.
Okay.
Okay, is this for the
the
audience?
audience.
This
For the
one's
audience.
this
Oh,
one's
thank you,
this one's-
Jesus.
this one's for the
Really?
audience.
All right. For the audience.
Let's see who could get this one quickly. Because, you know. All righty. In 2018, and this is for the Dunbarton collection of fun stuff. A new species of water beetle from Malaysian Borneo's Maluan Basin, named after what?
Oh, you're gonna have to say that one again.
You can't even say the question.
You can't ask the question if you can't fucking read it.
I read it. It's a new species of water beetle.
Oh my God!
In the
Malaysian
Malaysian.
with that. Species of Malaysian water beetle.
Wow.
And it was named after an actor.
Everybody was going, oh yeah, let me answer to that one.
Matt Polly knows what the fuck I'm talking about. He says Leo DiCaprio. It's the Leo DiCaprio beetle.
God, Matt, don't fucking
Oh my
Okay.
God!
Is that real? That is real.
Come on. Oh my
I
God.
can't even do this anymore. I'm out.
You found the one entomologist in the entire audience,
The
probably.
guy's all the way in Portland, Oregon, and he figured it out.
Fast Google fingers. Give me a break.
Wow.
I mean,
Well, they got it.
Not for
Who was
nothing.
that, by the way?
If I was famous, the last thing I'd want is named after me.
A water beetle from Borneo. I mean, well, it was an exotic beetle.
But who won?
Matt Polly.
Matt Polly.
Okay.
Matt Polly, congratulations.
Oh,
All righty.
my
Congratulations.
Boy,
God.
I'm glad I didn't go to the post office today. 'Cause I
I'm gonna write a book for Frank, and it's gonna be called
50 fucking
Trivia
stupid
Questions People Give a Shit About.
Oh,
And I'm gonna
my
give it to
God.
him for Christmas.
Frank, you've asked a lot of questions in the years you've been doing this. I have to say that ranks as #1 stupid question.
And yet, none of us got it.
No.
That's what we were supposed to say, but I know nobody
You
got
wonder
it.
why? Oh my God.
I was still trying to decipher what the hell he said.
I didn't hear the whole answer. How the hell did Matt figure that out?
No.
The
I
Malaysian water beetle.
thought that there was a divine something happening. I thought he was speaking in tongues.
Frank always speaks in tongues.
I said it exactly the way it was written. New
Well,
species.
I didn't know if I was going to have to send somebody over there to perform an exorcism.
Wow.
The power of
Okay.
Christ compels you.
You know what? Frank complains about being busy. Now you know why. Because look what he's Googling.
Ooh, yeah.
I'd love to see his search history.
Excuse me, don't talk to me. I'm Googling Malaysian water beetles.
No, he's going bugs named after Hollywood actors.
DiCaprio. Oh
It
my
must have been a very handsome beetle.
Oh, my God.
Man, oh man.
I think it was an Italian beetle.
Or
What, you
maybe
think
it
so?
just speaks to the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio is an insect.
Well, that's sort of where I was going.
That's where I would.
If it was a few years earlier, I would have said Bugsy Siegel.
Well, that was a good answer at least.
All right.
Wow.
This is for Gunner Cigars.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
And
You have a good question.
I'm looking at these and I'm like, wow, these are some pretty interesting questions you got there, Frank.
For who?
The
Einstein?
last one was interesting, Frank. Whoever heard it.
With the insect or what?
We are so glad that Frank is pleased with himself.
Yes. I have two questions that I want to ask.
For Frank.
So
And there's only one prize now.
there's only one prize. So
This is it. Just the
this
D
is for the
cigar.
question. So I'm
So it's a two-parter?
no, it's a one part. It's a one part. All right. In 1977, folks, in 1977, this wrestler beats Bruno Sammartino in Baltimore to become the WWF champion.
We talked about that before. We just talked about that.
Well, let's see if they were listening.
They weren't listening. They weren't on.
Look at Tim Paturny. Hogan. That's bogan. That's bogus, Tim. That's bogus.
Oh, no. Bruno Sammartino wrestled.
Ric Flair.
No, not Ric
No,
Flair.
no, it was before that. It wasn't beefcake or Valentine.
Billy Graham? Oh my God, Billy Graham.
not the evangelist.
Not the preacher.
Not the evangelist.
I thought that's who it was.
It's Superstar.
That's what I thought too, D.
Praise God, I won.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Superstar Billy Graham. Listen, Chris, you know what? You said Billy Graham, which is his proper name, but you forgot the superstar. So I'm going to
take 2 cigars away.
I'm going to not validate that answer.
Oh, no.
Now what are you
gotta
gonna
give
do?
it to
It's
him.
just been given.
Give it to him. Give it to him.
I'm not going to give it to him. Listen, this is a tough show. Sometimes you got to be tough. Right,
He's
Dee?
one of our listeners, our loyal listeners.
Last month he took it away because the guy had a typo.
Well, hey,
listen,
spelling counts.
Hey, I think you're acting like a Leonardo DiCaprio. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
The Vogue.
Look at all these guys. They're all going like, give it to him. Give it to him. Look,
Give it to him.
All
right. Give it to him.
Give it to him. No, listen.
Even our guest is saying, "Give it to him." Okay, Frank, shut up.
I'll up the ante.
Oh my God!
You give that to him, and then you go ahead and ask one more, and I'll send the second one.
Wow.
There we go. So, Chris got very lucky. By the way, Chris, you're a very lucky man today.
We all expect our payoff by tomorrow.
But look at what he says. He goes, one of my good friends is a Marine vet and early days with superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah.
So, look at that.
So you seen Frank? Come on.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. What was the answer?
It's superstar Billy Graham. It is Billy
His name
Graham.
was Superstar Billy Graham, yeah.
Billy Graham, but not the Reverend. How about that?
I think he knew who he was talking about.
He did. He
All right.
did.
So make the next question very understandable so there's no issues. All right?
Okay, I have a very easy question. What is Dee's last name?
How do you spell my last name?
Exactly.
I need you to speak it in English.
Here we go.
No hables inglés.
All right, here we go. In 2008, he sets a new Guinness record for holding his breath underwater for 17 minutes, 4.5 seconds on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Who was it?
David Blaine.
Oh, thank you, Cathy. What do you want, cigars? You didn't get
That was
Wow.
What are you doing, Cathy? That was for the audience.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's what happens when you don't have a cigar.
That's what
No,
happens.
that's what happens when you get so excited that Frank asks a question you actually know.
Look at Tim. Look at Tim. Tim goes Blaine. You know what? Tim, your wife said it. She's in the room. She's sitting next to you.
She's right in front of you, Tim. Unbelievable.
Besides, y'all are already getting a 5-pack anyway.
All right. So another one. Now.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Oh my God!
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Cathy,
have
Timmy,
so many
shut her up, will you?
questions that I am prepared.
You must
Unlike
feel
many
good, Frank.
people here, I come prepared to the show.
Be really quiet now. I didn't know an answer. I was so excited, and I didn't freaking cheat.
Oh boy!
I
Oh
think
boy!
you had the answer. You just blurbed it out and you heard it.
Alrighty.
No.
1991. This band signed a record contract with Geffen's DGC label for $290,000. What's the band?
1991.
And
Can you give us a
everybody-
genre?
That's
Can you give us a genre of music?
No,
No, that's too much.
that's the FU.
So what was the record
FU
label?
Jerah.
What was the record label?
Geffen Records.
Geffen Records.
Geffen.
Def Leppard.
No,
I think they're typically
No.
rock, aren't they, though?
Jerah's not bad. She's okay at guessing.
Nirvana.
Orlando says Nirvana. Nirvana it is.
There it is. Orlando won the second prize.
And not soon after that, Kurt Cobain.
He croaks.
Yep.
He
A
sells
little bit
was
of
it?
fame.
He
How do you
croaks,
spell-
Bob.
He croaks. That's how Bob X's
He gives
people
up
that
the
he doesn't
ghost.
believe.
Let's see how many ways can we say it? Here's a round robin one for you. How many ways can we say that?
Yeah,
He
exactly.
bit the dust. He bit
Well,
the dust.
it's the dust.
Bit the dust.
Yeah,
Gave up
well,
the ghost.
unless he did dust. I don't know.
Took a dirt nap.
Yeah,
Expired. He expired. It was
Oh,
fired.
gosh.
Expired.
Ladies, you did fantastic tonight. Thank you so much.
Listen,
Dee,
it
your
was all
story
Dee.
was
Jared did
absolutely
a
amazing.
supreme job. But
There was all
Dee.
balloons,
So amazing.
all hot air in those balloons.
Boy.
From Jared
A lot of
tonight.
air. A lot of air.
Yeah.
Okay. All I'm saying is don't get hit. Virtually hit. I will come through it. Dee, you have been sensational. I love your story. Thank you for being willing to share it with us. I know parts of that were probably really difficult. But we love the cigar. We think that what you're doing to memorialize Gunner is fantastic, and we are just glad we're glad you dug your way out. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
And we're glad that you're sharing. So please keep doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
And we will see you at Times Square, right? Times Square, New Year's Eve. You be there.
All our non-people.
I'm gonna yell fire so all the people will.
Let us know when you're ready for the fin stick.
Yes, I definitely will. And just do me a favor, get me the info for the two
Orlando
that I'm
Perez,
sending,
I'll send you that information for sure, and
the
I'll
other
also
man.
send you Chris Cutler's information.
Okay.
And make sure that you include an apology note from Frank.
Yeah. No, that's
Leonardo.
Jerah has to write it.
Yes.
Yes.
you need to apologize to that man for not counting his answer.
Well, hey, everything is.
Listen,
you have to be accurate.
I run
You
a
do have to
very
be
tight
accurate.
ship here.
Look,
Okay.
he didn't put Reverend in front of it, so
Well,
No, he didn't put superstar. So if you
I
if
think-
you used Reverend, that would have counted him out.
Yeah, I mean, Frank probably has a swastika tattoo somewhere on his body.
Bend over, he'll check it out.
Give you that information. That's on a need-to-know basis.
Ask Lucy, she'll tell you.
Yes, indeed. So we got Matt Pauley, the winner. We got Chris Cutler and Mr. Orlando Perez. Thanks for listening, guys. For all you listeners, thank you so much for the support. Ladies, you did fantastic. And from all of us to all of you, we'll see you next Tuesday night right here. Have a great one, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.